To those of you giving your all every single day, I see you, and I honor your effort. We live in a world that shifts beneath our feet like sand. Yet we spend our lives reaching out for something solid to hold on to. We yearn for a trust that never wavers, a love that promises forever, or a sense of self that remains unchanged by time. But when those precious things begin to slip through our fingers, or when a relationship we staked our happiness on starts to transform into something unrecognizable, we are often swallowed by a deep sense of despair. We feel betrayed when a friend changes, or we feel a crushing guilt when the fire of a long-term romance begins to dim. We find ourselves asking if anything was ever real, or if we were simply foolish to believe in the first place. In Buddhist philosophy, there is a fundamental truth, known as Anicca, or impermanence. It teaches us that all things in this universe are in a state of constant flux, never remaining the same for even a single moment. At first glance, this can feel like a cold and nihilistic declaration. It sounds as if the very things we cherish, our deepest bonds and our most sacred loves are destined to vanish, rendering our efforts meaningless. However, the wisdom of the Buddha suggests the exact opposite. It is only when we truly grasp the reality that everything changes that we can set down the heavy burden of our expectations. This realization is not a sentence of loneliness, but rather the key to a profound freedom that allows us to love others more deeply and authentically than ever before. Today, let us explore how this ancient wisdom can help us navigate the complexities of trust and love in our modern lives. Imagine, if you will, a young man named Kavi, who lived long ago in a quiet village in North India. Kavi was known for his integrity and was surrounded by a beautiful wife and a childhood friend, with whom he had shared every joy and sorrow. He believed his life was a fortress of stability. But then, a severe famine struck the region, and the pressure of survival began to erode the foundations of his world. His dear friend, driven by the desperate need to protect his own family, betrayed Kavi by vanishing with their shared resources. Meanwhile, the warmth in Kavi's home evaporated. His wife, exhausted and frightened, became sharp-tongued, and their once tender conversations were replaced by a heavy, icy silence. Kavi was shattered. He stayed awake at night, tormented by the thought, how could they change so easily? Was our love nothing but a lie? Seeking peace, Kavi visited an elderly monk who lived in a forest clearing. With tears in his eyes, Kavi asked if there was any such thing as a love that does not change. The monk led Kavi to the banks of a wide, rushing river. Pointing to the water, the monk said, "Kavi, look at this river. The water that passed by your feet a moment ago is gone forever, never to return. And yet, the river is still here. Human hearts, love, and trust are exactly like this water. You are suffering because you are trying to capture yesterday's water in today's hand. Your friend, your wife, and even you yourself are not the same people you were before the famine. This is not a betrayal of the soul, it is the natural movement of life. Do not think of love as a fixed stone. Think of it as a flowing stream. It is the very act of flowing that keeps the water clear and life-giving. Kavi did not understand immediately, but over the following days, he sat in silence and observed his own heart. He realized that he, too, had changed. In his stress, he had become suspicious and demanding, clinging to a version of his wife that no longer existed, instead of seeing the suffering woman standing right in front of him. He realized his pain didn't come from the change itself, but from his own desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. When he returned home, he stopped looking for his old wife and began to care for the woman. She was now anxious, tired, and human. As he let go of his rigid expectations and met her with a quiet, renewed presence, the tension between them began to thaw. A new kind of trust began to grow. Not the naive trust of their youth, but a mature, resilient bond that accepted the reality of their struggles. In our modern world, we face the same struggle as Kavi. We are bombarded with images of perfect couples and forever friendships, which creates a false standard that anything less than total stasis is a failure. We tie our very identity to these relationships, believing that if someone loves us, we are worthy, and if they change, we are diminished. But Buddhism invites us to see that the conditions of our lives are health. Our jobs, our internal anxieties are always shifting. Love and trust are not static trophies we win and keep on a shelf. They are in or interconnected conditions. A relationship is a living energy that responds to the environment. When we accept that change is the only constant, we stop being victims of circumstances and start becoming conscious participants in the flow of our lives. You might wonder if long-term couples who stay together for decades are simply the lucky products of chance. From a Buddhist perspective, a lasting marriage or a lifelong friendship is not a random accident. It is the result of a continuous, intentional series of choices. These couples are not people whose river never change. They are people who committed to learning how to swim together in new currents every single day. They understood, perhaps instinctively, that the person they married 30 years ago is not the person they are having breakfast with this morning. Their success lies in their ability to remarry the new version of their partner over and over again. They have practiced the art of letting go of the past to make room for the present. To cultivate this kind of enduring bond, I propose several practical steps. First, practice the beginner's mind with those you love. Every morning, try to look at your partner or your friend as if you are meeting them for the first time. Strip away the labels of the grumpy one or the unreliable one. When we think we know someone completely, we stop truly seeing them. By approaching them with fresh curiosity, you create space for them to grow and change, without feeling judged by your past versions of them. This is the essence of right view. Seeing things as they are, right now, rather than through the filter of memory or desire. Second, embrace the imagination of compassion. When someone you love disappoints you, or seems to be drifting away, pause before you react. Beneath every act of withdrawal or anger is usually a hidden pocket of suffering. Ask yourself, what pain are they carrying that makes them act this way? This doesn't mean you must accept mistreatment, but it allows you to respond with wisdom rather than reflexive hurt. By addressing the root of their suffering rather than just the symptom of their behavior, you nurture the soil of the relationship. Finally, remember that you must be your own refuge. If you rely entirely on another person to provide your sense of peace, you will always be at the mercy of their changes. Cultivate a self-compassion that stays steady, even when the world outside is in turmoil. When you are a full vessel of your own peace, you no longer approach others with a beggar's heart, demanding they fill you up. Instead, you approach them with a giver's heart, ready to share the abundance of your own stability. Everything in this life will change. This is the truth. But this truth is not a reason for sorrow, it is a reason for immense gratitude. Because everything changes, we can heal from the past. Because everything changes, we can find new depths of intimacy that we never imagined possible. A long-term bond is a masterpiece woven from a million tiny threads of now. It is built when you choose to listen, choose to forgive, and choose to be kind. Even when the person across from you is no longer the person you once knew. As we end our time together today, take a moment to breathe deeply. Think of one person you care about. Can you let go of one expectation you have of them? Can you offer them a single word of loving speech today, not because they earned it, but simply because they are a fellow traveler in this shifting world? You are not alone in your fears or your hopes. We are all navigating this river together. May your heart be as flexible as bamboo and as clear as a mountain stream. Trust the process, trust the change, and most importantly, trust the capacity of your own heart to love through it all. I am always here, walking this path with you. May you find peace in the flow. If this story resonated with you and provided some insights or learning, I'd be delighted if you could press the like button. Also, if you subscribe to the channel, I'll be able to continue sharing various life wisdom and lessons with you. Please share your experiences and thoughts in the comments section as well. Each person's experience becomes valuable learning for other viewers. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end today. I look forward to meeting you all again in the next video.